Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed Jesus, he followed Jesus, but yet he did not follow him at all. In other words, he may have been physically in Jesus' presence, going from place to place, seeing and listening to what Jesus had to say, the things that he was doing, the impact he was making, but yet he was not implementing anything seemingly that Jesus was teaching. And the ironic thing about this is he was one of the 12 disciples. The word disciples simply means student, a learner. He wasn't much of a disciple at all, because it doesn't seem like he was learning much of anything, even though it was right in front of his eyes. And so maybe he just had a different reason, a different expectation of Jesus, what Jesus came here to do. Jesus was all about serving. He was the greatest servant leader. But Judas was more interested in what was in it for him. He had this attitude about what he could gain, not what others could gain. So this was so counterintuitive of what Jesus was here to do. And even though Judas was right there, he had a front row seat to all of this, what Jesus was doing, he just couldn't quite get it. And it took to the point where it seems like the straw that broke the camel's back was when this woman blesses Jesus, anoints him with this perfume, this ointment, and it says the disciples were complaining about how they could have sold it and taken that money and given it to the poor. Well, it seems like that was the moment that Judas had said, you know what, I've had enough. And that's when he went to the religious leaders who he knew wanted to get a hold of Jesus and to ultimately kill him. Judas knew that that was their plan, that was their intention. Jesus told the disciples that he would die at the hands of the leaders. And so Judas, whether he realized it or not, he was that instrumental piece of all of that coming to fruition. And so Judas goes to these religious leaders and says, what will you give me if I hand him over to you? Did you hear that? What will you give me? What's in it for me? Was Judas's attitude, his mindset, his approach to life. And spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for Judas. Many know how it ends for Judas. But let this be a reminder that it may not end the way it did for Judas, for us, if we have this mindset, but it will not end well. Destruction somehow, some way is waiting for those with a mindset and an attitude that I'm gonna look out for myself. The what's in it for me type of mentality, a scarcity mindset, when the reality is there's abundance. There's an abundance of everything. Really, the only thing we can't have an abundance of is time. We all have the same amount of time. So use your time to the best of your ability. And take a look at your perspective, how you go about your day. There's a chance you may be looking at things the wrong way, that you may not see the whole picture. Judas clearly had a wrong perspective about what Jesus came here to do. And again, we'll read about how that ends for him if you're not aware. It's right around the corner of what happens to Judas, but he hands Jesus over. He sets him up for 30 pieces of silver, which was basically the cost of a slave. Not much at all. But that was enough for Judas, at least for that time. So my reminder today is to always be checking in on our perspective, our expectations, our mindset as we go about our day. Because again, there may be things that we are missing if we take a step back and look, maybe get others' perspectives as well. There's a chance that we could be missing something. And that's how we learn from one another. It's good to see things differently so we can learn from one another, sharpen one another, right? As iron sharpens iron. And that way we can become the people that God has created us to become.